About if you want, that's
Yeah,
just,
I've got a little money I want to hand out.
okay. All right. We will officially begin our work session of the Weaver County Commissioners. Today is, sorry, I'm trying to follow the notes here. Today is Monday, December 15th. Our first item is discussion and or action for approval of the minutes for the commission work session held on December 8th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
all right.
Motion carries. Okay, item 2, discussion regarding McKay-Dee Hospital community contribution. Welcome.
All right, well, thank you. Thanks for carving out a few minutes in your meeting for us today. All right, and I
We
understand I
always
can
look
plug this
forward to
in.
this, yeah, just.
You know where I plug this into?
Sit in the corner.
We would do not make you put on a pointed hat.
You can. Maybe I'll just switch it across it over there.
I tried one.
So guys, I was friends with your son, Ryan, went to high school together.
With Ryan?
Yeah, and I hadn't seen Ryan in 20+ years. I was outside of the state of Utah for a number of years.
Were you? Yeah.
Saw him at the Golden West event last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So you went to Fremont then?
I did. Yep, that same year.
Yeah, good.
Yep,
The time I saw you.
yeah. Okay, let's pull this up here. If it's okay, just maybe some brief introductions.
Yeah.
Before we start, so Barry Buse, I'm the McKay-Dee Hospital president. I am from the area. I was born and raised in Hooper.
Who's your dad?
Brad.
Yeah,
You know,
Brad
I know
well.
that family.
And, but I worked outside of the state of Utah for about 13 years, before, coming back to seeing the light eventually. And coming back to Utah, although there are pros and cons to being close to family.
Yeah.
It's mostly good,
Sometimes.
yeah. So,
Great. Matt Anderson. I'm our community relationships manager for Intermountain Health. So I cover all of our community relationships with local government for all of Idaho and Utah. I'm not from Weber County, but I have Weber County roots. My dad grew up just above Ogden High School on Darling Street, and family kind of settled here in the 1800s. So, but I live up in Cache County now.
But that's who you were with before.
I was with the state, and then I was with Senator Romney before. That's when I
Okay,
interacted
that's-
more with Senator Romney. Yep.
Remember you had some good conversations with the previous commissioner,
Yep.
Scott Jenkins.
Yep.
He just loved Ron.
Good.
Name your sponsor.
Yeah.
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 Jason Marty, marketing communications for McKay-Dee Hospital specifically. I'm not from Utah originally, but when I first moved, I came to Weber State with some buddies playing ball, and I loved Ogden, and I've been up and down the state now. Every school, Provo, Dixie, anyway, I love being back here and kind of finding a full circle. Love Ogden, so glad to be here.
I'm Jessica Clark. I'm the public relations manager for the county.
Commissioner Harvey, Commissioner Farrar, Commissioner Bowles. Welcome. Okay.
thanks again for your time today. So just to start, this is the mission statement of Intermountain Health. It really guides everything we do. Helping people live the healthiest lives possible. We think of that not only as the communities and patients that we serve, but also our caregivers. Intermountain's now 70,000 caregivers strong, and does what we can to support those caregivers in them fulfilling their healthiest lives possible as well. So it really guides the work that we do every single day. Want to touch upon a couple of things. And these are things that you're all well aware of, and certainly if you have questions as I'm going through this, please stop me. But Intermountain Health and McKay-Dee Hospital are part of an integrated non-for-profit delivery system. And so we're committed to providing care to our patients regardless of their ability to pay. I mean, that's at the core of the work that we do. So want to touch upon just a couple of the differences between the two. When I talk to our new caregivers, I talk about shareholders, right? Both entities have shareholders. Your for-profits are people that have stock and units in a company. When we talk about shareholders from a not-for-profit perspective, we talk about the communities that we serve. So we're governed by a community health needs assessment that we conduct every 3 years and do what we can to fulfill the needs of those of the communities that we serve. Obviously, a not-for-profit, we have to have a profit. We have to have positive revenue to continue to be able to invest in the health of our community. As a system, we target a 3 to 6% net operating income. So a lower margin. Healthcare generally is a lower margin business. But that's our target, what we consider a healthy operating margin that allows us to continue to invest in our community. It's a struggle. 2 years ago, we were at 0.9% for the year. And then a year ago, we were at about 1.8%. This year, we're tracking to end the year at about 2.3% operating margin. So getting back to that comfort zone of the profit margin, we need to be we talk about being a forever company and being able to continue to invest in our facilities, in the community health programs, and continue it as a thriving not-for-profit health system. Matt and Jason, if there's anything you'd add to any of that, please stop me. So one of the things that I did want to mention, because I think there's a community misperception that Intermountain Health doesn't pay any taxes. We pay a lot of taxes. In 2023, we paid about $500 million in taxes. When we think about what we do not pay taxes on, it's really the property tax of the licensed hospital that we're in. So if you just picture McKay-Dee Hospital, there's a good chunk of that is medical office space that does not qualify under our not-for-profit status to be property tax exempt. We also have surgery centers, and those are growing. We have an established McKay-Dee Surgery Center. Just last week, we opened up a GI center on our North Campus. We have imaging centers. All those are subject to property tax. So all in, Intermountain Health was about $500 million total in property tax. Did you have a question? Sorry.
Barry, can I just add something?
Yeah.
That I'll add is there's a number of things that we don't have to pay property taxes on, but we choose to. So if it does support healthcare, we don't have to. So for instance, we have a laundry facility in Woods Cross. That would technically not qualify, or technically we don't have to pay property taxes on that, but we choose to because we want to be good members of the community and partner, because we recognize that we're using some of the resources of your counties. And so we do that in some instances too, even when it does support healthcare.
Y'all do a lot of laundry.
A lot of laundry. A lot of laundry. That's why we have a facility.
When you think about the turnover of the beds, and it is a truckloads of laundry. So yeah, the obligation for that charity care to offset what you would pay in property taxes is really the promise of a not-for-profit health system. Intermountain Health was more than twice that in 2023. So as I mentioned, we conduct community health needs assessments. We recently did one that will begin in 2026. These community health needs really haven't changed a whole lot, not surprisingly. Mental health and well-being still is a challenge in our community. The chronic disease and health outcomes is a more naturally aligns to the work that we do every single day as patients come through our ER and have procedures. However, we are investing more into proactive care, meaning that we're trying to get in front of disease. If you think of colorectal cancer, for instance, making sure when people are of age, which is 45, that they're getting those screening exams. so that we can catch that earlier and maybe catch somebody in a stage 1 as opposed to a stage 3, and that cost of care becomes less. So there's a lot of investment happening there. Addressing in social drivers of health, and then access to care. This is manifest to us just through a lot of ways, but a lot of emphasis recently in recruitment. We have too many people in our communities that have health challenges that don't have established primary care physicians. And so we have, we're underway and have a concerted effort over the coming years to add more and more primary care physicians so that access becomes easier for them. We have a new clinic being built out, and that's in planning and design in Plain City right now that aligns with that. And then another one in Davis County, in addition to just adding more providers into our already established clinics. Adding same-day access is another initiative. So this is not urgent care, not ER. We have a primary care physician. We leave slots open during the day so that people can call and have same-day access. And in many of those offices, extending that to after-hours service as well. Just a brief update in terms of Intermountain Health and our scope. A couple of years ago, there was a merger with SCL Health, which is primarily based out of Colorado, but has hospitals in Colorado and Montana. That merger increased the size of Intermountain Health to 33 hospitals. And then we list a virtual hospital on here, which essentially is a new program, a new federally supported program called Hospital Level Care at Home, which means that if I go to the emergency room and I would be a lower acuity patient that probably needs to be admitted, but they're not like as concerned as somebody that's going to die in a couple of days, right? And maybe I need fluids for a couple of days. They could admit me as a hospital patient under a provider, and that provider and nursing staff will follow up with that patient in their own home. So they would many times go home with some telehealth equipment to allow them to care for them. But we have float pool nurses that are part of that pool now that go out and see patients in their own home. Select Health continues to grow along the Wasatch Front. Big growth area in our Colorado and Montana markets. As I mentioned, we've got about 70,000 caregivers in the states that we serve, and employ a lot of physicians and APPs. And this is not to mention the number of affiliate or private practice physicians that are part of our medical staff as well. This is the footprint that kind of outlines where we're at in those 6 states with hospitals, clinics. We did have a merger of Classic Air and Intermountain Health Life Flight to consolidate those flight and ambulance services within the last year. From a local standpoint, these are the statistics of McKay-Dee Hospital, just under 3,000 caregivers. We just updated the number of licensed beds a couple of weeks ago. If you've been up around the McKay-Dee campus in the past several months, you've seen scaffolding on the south side. That's part of an ICU expansion for us, which initially has increased our bed count by 6. But as that project moves forward, it will be transitioning some of the medical beds to high acuity ICU level beds. Too often we have members in our communities that need ICU level care that are unable to get it at McKay-Dee Hospital because we are full for that high acuity care. So we will be going from 16 beds to 32 beds. That project will be done about this time next year. But even then, that's not enough. And so we have a project that's been approved to expand our ER. As part of that project, we'll shell space above that on the 2nd floor for future ICU expansion, ultimately getting up to about 50 ICU beds. Wow. So significant expansion there. McKay-Dee Hospital's busy. the babies that we deliver really has been kind of a stagnant number for us as we opened up Layton Hospital. Some of those patients that were in Davis County that were coming to McKay-Dee are getting more established at Layton Hospital, and that was the design. And then we expect our babies being delivered to increase basically following population growth. We do a lot of surgery, a little over 12,000 procedures a day, and then emergency room visits of about 57,000, which is significant considering the number of exam rooms that we have. They're the most efficient ER in the entire system and the busiest as well. So we will welcome 15 more exam rooms as part of that. And that will really get us through probably another 20 years of growth. It'll allow us to get up to about 80,000 patients annually. Any questions on any of that before I move on here?
I gotta just tell you, years ago, my son had broke his wrist on a trampoline accident. He was probably 16 or 17 out there playing, and I mean, it was bad. And they brought us back there and said, and then they did a couple things and they left. He'd never been into the emergency room before. We've been there just kind of waiting. All of a sudden the curtain closed. He's there and he just says, "I don't know if you people can hear me out here, but this really hurts. I need to get going." You guys got a lot of things going on. I thought it was just, I laughed so hard.
That's funny.
And by the way, they got him into surgery within about an hour after that. It was that bad. So, and that was like a night, so. Hey.
I'm dying over here.
Yeah, I'm dying, man. This hurts.
Yeah, got a knife in me here.
Yeah, it's like,
Guy's been shot, but.
yeah.
It's like that Brian Regan, say eight, like get the best drugs. Cause it's the best, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, busy ER and so that's been a long time coming for us. And so rounding in the ER is an interesting experience. So you never know what you're gonna hear in there. So these are the categories that meet both the IRS guidelines as well as the state of Utah for property tax exemption. They're listed here. A highly coordinated effort between us and our community health programs and the state and federal programs to ensure that we meet those requirements. This is probably the most important slide to take away from today, right? And so as we look at what our 2024 estimated property tax would have been, as if we were a for-profit entity, it would be about $4 million. The dollar amount that we contribute in charity care, and this is value adjusted charity care, knowing that nobody really pays on gross charges, right? So this is value adjusted. It's about $24 million. So the promise you make is to basically meet what your property tax would have been in charity care. And so we do about 6 times that as a system that allows us to continue to invest in many other things in our community. Just a little bit further detail in that you can see what our uncollected bad debt is. And so these are write-offs that we make based off of patients' inability to pay. The dollar figure, $24 million in capital improvements that were made in 2024. The total gift to the community is not the federal requirement, but it includes that value adjusted care and then the other programs that we invest into the community that are not part of that IRS or state of Utah not-for-profit exemption requirement.
And we do not include uncollected bad debt in our charity care numbers. We don't include that in any of our total gift to the community or the other numbers that you saw.
So we obviously have invested a lot of resources into financial programs to help patients who are unable to pay that need care. We have a lot in our community that fit in that category, and it's based off of their ability to pay, less about what their history is, what their earnings are, but about their ability to pay. And then here it just goes into a little bit further detail, some of the other ways that we contribute to the community here through community service and education. There's a lot of clinics that we support financially. If you think of, for instance, like the Midtown clinic that sees a lot of uninsured or underinsured patients. We have voucher programs that these charitable clinics are able to utilize that maybe have somebody that needs imaging or lab services. We offer the Cedar Clinic, for instance, a stipend each year so that their patients can get on the spot labs without having to come to the hospital to get it, because sometimes even that is a deters them from getting the care that they need. So they're able to get that on the spot. And then we have a history of volunteer service that really starts at the board level of Intermountain, and from a hospital board level. We were fortunate to have people that volunteer their time and serve on our board of trustees and have caregivers that serve in the community in many other ways. We provide a lot of education to ensure our providers are up to date with their training, as well as our nurses and techs, and so significant investment there. So I guess if there were three messages, it would be one, we do pay some taxes. You know, from a system standpoint, not an insignificant number. We earn, secondly, I would say we earn our not-for-profit status, and then some, particularly in this market here, a 6 times multiple on the amount of charity care that we provide our community. And then third, just that community remains a top priority for us as a system and for us as a hospital to do what we can to meet the needs of our community. So I'll stop there. I've done enough talking, and I can't remember how much time we had set aside for this, and so I don't want to keep you off schedule here. So, but want to open it up and see if there are questions or comments or things that we can do to better serve the community.
Commissioner Harvey?
Madam Chair, years ago, I was always confused at this presentation and asked why this organization doesn't pay taxes, and Market Star Health Network, or Market, whatever it's called. Is that right?
Mountain Star.
Mountain Star.
Mountain Star.
You had a star in there somewhere. Why they did, and it was just a model. One uses one, and why weren't they equally? And one uses one model, one uses another. And it's just a business decision choice, and so I support this 100%. Thank you for your contribution to our community. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And I've worked for both. I worked for profits, and I've worked for not-for-profits, and it's exactly that. I mean, two different models, two different shareholders, right? You see your not-for-profit health systems have a more comprehensive approach to healthcare, where, I mean, at the end of the day, your for-profits are liable to shareholders, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I think if you pick a service line that's a high revenue service line that both systems offer, I think the outcomes they should be relatively close to each other, right? But you'll see your not-for-profit health systems get more involved in behavioral health, for instance. And several years ago, we decided to get more into behavioral health, not for financial reasons. You see many leaving that service line for financial reasons, but we're driven by fulfilling our community health needs assessment.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I think the, information you provided shows, and there's a lot of discussions years ago when I was in the legislature about tax exemption for credit unions versus banks and healthcare facilities. I think in your particular case, I'm talking about McKay-Dee and Intermountain, the proof's in the pudding. the community care you give back far exceeds the amount of money that we would have to put on the back of the taxpayers to pay for those underserved or not served. The end of the day would probably come to us in some form, wherever that would be.
Yeah.
But I would just say, we're very fortunate to have an organization like McKay-Dee and Intermountain in Weber County. I have a few friends in Ogden Valley and throughout that come from out of state, and they tell me, this is the best healthcare, Utah in particular, in Weber County, the best healthcare facilities, MDs, et cetera, they've seen any place else in the United States. And I agree with them. I try to stay out of your facility.
Right.
Sometimes I'm like,
Most do, most do.
That's our goal. That's all of our goal, right?
yeah, but anyway, I think you can be proud of what you provide to our community, and as far as I'm concerned, the amount of taxes paid are really irrelevant compared to the services you donate to those other groups.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, I would just echo what these two have said. I really appreciate the presentation and the information. It just does really speak for itself. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
all.
taking the time with us. We
Absolutely.
appreciate it. We know how valuable your time is.
Thanks,
See you again, Matt.
thanks for coming
See you
down.
too.
And certainly if there are things that come up, we don't have to wait for an annual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
presentation
Yeah, of course,
this-
please.
Like this to have that conversation. So happy to
Okay,
discuss as the years go on.
right. Thank you so much.
And next year we'll get to this a little earlier. I'm new, so I didn't know it had to get done. I'm like, oh, at least we got it in before the.
You know, you'll find we're pretty accommodating.
Yeah, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
we'll try to be. Thanks, you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. So how long have you been president up there? Because there was a gal there before you.
So Judy Williams.
Yeah.
There
Judy
before,
Williams.
and so at the beginning of this year, she accepted an opportunity to do a President's Fellowship. That's. Let's see how to describe this. It's a year-long commitment to take on system level projects, but it requires you to vacate your position to do it.
Got it.
And so in January, they asked me to step in as president, McKay-Dee. Prior to that, I was our chief operating officer. Judy comes back in January from her fellowship position, and so she'll then assume the president position, and I'll move back to the chief operating officer.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how that took.
Long answer to your question, but.
What if we want you to go to another hospital again? How do you say?
That's a question.
We like Judy,
can't
but,
answer right now.
Fun to golf with.
She's a nice
She's
girl.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Tell me again who your uncle is. Your uncle.
Brad.
Brad is my dad.
His dad.
Yeah.
Well, but who's the one that's in the electrical? Air now sprinkler business. I thought that was Brad's brother. No, not, okay. No.
Was your dad, what's your dad do?
He was in the mortgage business for a while. He's retired, but
Yeah.
over the years, he's done a little bit of development here and there.
You probably knew him from that, Gage.
What was he in?
He was in development and he was in real estate business.
Okay, that's where I knew it from. Yeah,
That's it.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Just need to tell you.
I got it.
Connect the dots.
Okay.
Great.
Well, that was
Was that
it.
yours?
Thanks for your time.
That's
Yeah,
yours?
that's yours.
Okay.
No,
Thank you.
no.
Thank you.
The next person would be upset if I took that off
I
and
thought
they
you
go
put
plug
that
in.
down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
In and
Yes.
Yeah.
You better get some vitamin C in you.
I'll go in
I
first.
take vitamin C every day.
Hello.
How you
To
doing?
prevent this.
How are you?
I tell you, I got
Just
it.
right.
I got it.
Just right?
Did you get it?
I love it.
Oh, well,
Lady.
there's only a million other people
I
down
know,
there.
that's why I.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, look at this group.
Somebody better keep you under control.
And Charlie's got his maps out, now I'm in trouble.
And markers, maps and markers, maps, markers.
Oh,
Wow, we have a room full. All right, item 3, commissioners, discussion regarding how do you pronounce
Halcyon.
Halcyon Estates rezone. Charlie, you were over, Sean is not here. William Keel, Gary Myers. Charlie, you're up.
Take one down, pass it around.
You want one too, Jeff? That's a double, and share.
So this is the narrative that applicants have submitted for the Halcyon Estate potential rezone. You guys have looked at this in the past. And they're just here to try and get a final answer to some of the original questions, and they've got a little bit more that they're willing to offer the county as part of that. The planning commission has passed on a positive recommendation with some specific requests coming from the developer, and we've got, I can show you what those are, but we've got a developer here as well who would love to discuss some of these with you. So the 9 things that the planning commission asked for is that we put together a development agreement that uses the template DA that we have been using for most developments recently. That we come up with a mutually satisfying resolution to trees. If you guys remember that the original Halcyon was supposed to have street trees in the park strips, and they didn't get installed. And so they've come up with a pretty good solution. Either the trees go in, if the landowner wants the trees go in, and the landowners who don't want the trees, those would go to the park district or something similar. So the same amount of trees are still going in, it just might not be right in front of somebody's house. Big issue is some of the folks that they went out and surveyed said they don't want the trees. Others of them said that they do.
Even though they knew that they were supposed to have the trees when they moved in.
I'm curious whether the people who are moving in did know that, but somebody should have known that, yes. Yep.
So, do you want me to add clarity to that or no?
Let me get through
Yeah.
these and then, yeah, we can jump on those.
Okay.
We are asking for a pathway along 1800 South. 1800 South currently has 4-foot wide sidewalks and park strips. So instead of putting trees in that park strip, we would ask them to just fill the park strip in, probably just concrete to match the concrete that's already there. I think it's a 4-foot wide park strip, which will give us an 8-foot wide pathway. Total, it's not the 10 feet that we would love to see, but at least it doesn't require a ton of retrofitting. There are some people who have put landscaping within their park strip area that probably aren't going to be super happy about the park strip going away. But on 1800 South, further to the east, if you guys have seen that in the Stagecoach Estates, there's a 10-foot wide paved pathway running along there. So the intention of the county is to, so far, is to extend that asphalt pathway from Stagecoach across the frontage of the DeGiorgio subdivision. And we're hoping to do that with the engineers as they do drainage improvements over this next year. And then across the frontage of Halcyon, so changing the sidewalk to a pathway. And then at the end of Halcyon, on the western end of the Halcyon estates there, the engineers, I think it's Ash, is it next year, you're gonna do a drainage project between Halcyon and 4300?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to get it designed and hopefully under construction.
So the intention would be to also put a pathway on top of that drainage facility as well. So from, by the end of next year, the hope is to have a pathway from the east side of Stagecoach all the way to 4300 West. And I don't know if you've driven down 4300 West to the north of 1800, but Bristol Farms is going in and they've got a 10-foot wide pathway there as well, which we would need to cross, I think, 2 frontages to connect this. So you'll have almost 2 full sides of a block with the asphalt pathway in that community. And it's surprising how many people just go for that, what is a 40-acre frontage, 1,300 feet for that first 1,300 feet of Stagecoach. They go and walk just on that pathway, or they go over to Bristol Farms and walk on the pathway that they have out there right now, even though it's only for small segments. So they're definitely getting used. So that's the pathway. The other side of pathways is within the project. Make sure that's, yeah. So within the project, this is the northern 10 acres of Halcyon. If you look at the eastern side of the boundary here, make sure I'm pointing to the right thing. You got that cul-de-sac that comes out of the DeGiorgio subdivision and stubs into the side of the project there. They are working on potentially putting a pathway in.
That's just a
there.
little pathway though, right? I remember that.
It is. Originally planning, we asked for the full road connection. But as they were talking with the neighbors over there, the neighbors weren't as excited about a full road connection. But generally speaking, it sounded like they could possibly get a pathway in. The other thing, and Harvey, you have it on yours, let me draw it on this one here. Bristol on the west, they've got a pathway that runs between two lots already. And so we'd be asking them to connect that elbow in their road by pathway over to Bristol. So that's the pathway connections inside the project. They have agreed to providing $7,500 donation per new proposed lot. And at least they've mentioned per existing lot in phase, was it 1 or 2?
The 24 lots that would be south of there.
The 24 lots to the south. So when we were discussing that, basically we're trying to figure out how do we compensate the community for the loss of this open space. Now, it's not community open space now. It's individually owned agricultural parcel, not intended for development. That's how they got their PRUD for the original Halcyon. So if they flip this for residential, we would want them to find a way to compensate the difference, not just for the new homes that are going in, but for the homes that went in the first place in these 24 lots that were down here. So they've said that they're okay with doing $7,500 per front door for both existing front doors as well as for the new front doors there.
To the park district you're talking.
To the park district, yes, thank you. Good clarification.
And that was, Charlie, because this was to be open space,
Mhm.
and that's what they bought into.
Yep, that was the intention. Pathway to Bristol, we'll mention that, Preston, pathway to 1700, okay. The planning commission wants whatever water is assigned to this property to remain either assigned to the property or to go to the park district. The applicant, I think, has some things to talk to you about that because the water isn't necessarily assigned to the property. I think it's assigned to the ditch. Is that right? The
It's
ditch.
just shares and for irrigation. There's no such thing as water rights that are assigned to property unless it's being able to dig and take water from the ground, which you need a state permit for. Water rights are just owned in a water district like a hub irrigation.
One of the things that staff had suggested was that we take the entire original Halcyon Estates, including the few lots that are just to the west of DeGiorgio, and rezone all of that to the R115 zone, not just the 10 acres here. When we heard at the planning commission, we heard some people from the public who live in that area say, you know what, we've got larger lots over here. In that side of Halcyon, they'd sure like to continue to be able to have horse property. But these properties down here, they're all relatively small. So planning commission mentioned, why don't we just leave the rezoned R115 to the new portion, the 10 acres. I kind of think you probably want to apply it to this 10 acres and that 10 acres to the south because
What's Anselmi Estates?
it's a R115.
Okay.
Yeah, so all the Bristol Farms to the west is R115, Anselmi is R115, the Martini property just next door to Anselmi is now R115. So we'd suggest keep everything in the square that is over on by DeGiorgio, including the first side of Halcyon, keep that to the A1, but then take the first 24 lots and the 10 acres that we're talking about now and change that over to the R115. Those were the 9 things that the planning commission were hoping for. Do you guys have any clarifications or things you wanted to address on that?
No, I think you pretty much got it. I mean, on the fees per lot, right, we've gone all over. Some planning commission members felt like it should be punitive, that, you know, we're benefiting in a way that others haven't. So I think we've always been like, hey, what's the standard? What makes, you know, a good partnership between the county? We aware this is a partnership, right? We're asking for a concession to a certain degree, right? We're only asking that for that concession, we just follow the standard that was done for the other PRUD that you dealt with in the past, which is 1 to 5, right? Which is equitable. That's how we think about it. Water shares, just clarification there, commissioners. I think if the district needs water shares for the park, I'm not opposed to figuring out what that looks like in terms of, hey, if the dollar is X and they need some water shares that aren't going to be used for the development, you know, there's obviously in lieu of type of situation where as opposed to the full cash amount, it comes into, hey, here's some water shares that offset that or some sort of combination. I think that's more than appropriate.
So with that in mind, if you guys are comfortable with the idea moving forward, we're happy to get it on an agenda for rezone. If you guys like more discussion or input or whatever, let us know. We're happy to do what you guys want on this one.
You take some notes, Commissioner?
I did. Thank you. Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, I was gonna say, one thing that's important to note is that the general plan does show this 10-acre piece as being in recreation open space. And so to fulfill this request, we would also run it in tandem with the general plan amendment. You guys had mentioned that you don't want to see any changes to the general plan until the corridor study is done. I don't know if that applied to this kind of a request as well. This is very similar to the Winston Park request. So I just wanted to make sure you guys knew you wanted to be sensitive to that as well.
Okay.
Let's go to DeGiorgio. I went out there and met with the people out there. Do you remember me talking to you about this? Was it you, Charlie, you, Rick, maybe both of you? And we talked about the road connectivity. This particular project has nothing to do with that, correct?
The original Halcyon did. You can see that on
The connector road.
this map here.
What they met with you about was this road, right? Where is this?
Show me on this one then. If you wanted me to go to that, then show me there.
Okay, so that's good. This one right here. There's a connector road right
Yeah,
here.
I know where you're
And then
talking
there's
about.
another one that's
Right up there.
us.
So that connector road, do you remember what I told you about that?
The community didn't want it put in, I think.
Of course they didn't want to put in. We're gonna put the road in and I want whoever's responsible, whether it's this gentleman here or these gentlemen here or others. I want to make sure that what they didn't want is sidewalks connected with it.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make sure the road was good and wide and stable and proper.
Yep.
And the same with the other roads. So not just this road, but the road up, there's this one.
Another one.
There's another one comes right up here.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that, so if doing anything, before I get going on this, before I do anything, I want to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
That's
tied to the Martini development agreement.
okay.
So
I
hopefully
just
we get
want
it.
to, make sure you're hearing me loud and clear on that. That's a big deal for me. At least
And-
excuse me.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Every person that I talked to in the subdivision, I didn't find one dissenter out there, and I met with like 50 or 60 households, which represents about the whole shooting match in some dude's RV garage out there. Is a big garage.
Wow.
I'd like to do what they'd asked us to do. That probably benefits the person doing that, but that's where I'd like to land on that. This request here for this one, my other question is I don't understand why we'd go from 2 10-foot pathways down to an 8-foot pathway and then back to a 10. So for that reason, I'd like to take it, I want to stay consistent. That's the right thing to do. That's my opinion right there. Otherwise, I think I can't see any other negative to it. I would be, if that 10-foot consistency were created, it makes us look stupid.
Yeah.
And I can get up in the morning and look in the mirror and do that just fine. I don't need these people to help me. So I think those two reservations, the road that I just talked to you about, the Martini and the 10-foot, I would be a no unless that were changed.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Pearl?
Well, yeah, I'm struggling with this. So Halcyon got their 24 lots based on the assumption or the commitment that this remains open space, which we've seen happen in the county before. Now we have developers coming back and saying, oops, you've changed this for our neighbors, said we want it. Sometimes they forget that the development rights they were given was based upon that remaining open space.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, I'm not prepared to move ahead of that until, now we've done this in the past, sometimes under duress, sometimes for good reason. I'm not prepared to move this forward until I have a clear understanding of what benefit the community, what benefit the county, at the end of the day, what's this gonna look like in terms of, because this is a major, how many lots you got there? 27. How many?
Get up, it's the RA-115 zone, you could do 27 lots.
So 27 lots, so you probably got
That's gravy.
a couple $1 million worth of profit stuck in those, maybe more.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, potentially.
Yeah, maybe, I'm probably underestimating that, so I'm just saying, before we put 2, 3, 4, maybe $5 million in somebody's pocket that was never supposed to be developed. I don't think I'm not being a good steward of the taxpayers' dollars until we see what the benefits back to the public, so I'm a no vote right now.
I agree with you, Commissioner, for, especially with the concessions that were made on the first base, of leaving that open space. I don't know how to make that whole, if I recall correctly, this was because the park district didn't want this small of a parcel, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's really close to where their other park is.
Yeah. And so I think at the first time we saw this, I asked for the park district to come back with a plan so that this doesn't happen again. That's where I really struggle, because if they don't know what they want, then we don't know what we should approve.
Park District has actually been involved in this, and they've given a letter of approval or support for this change, conditioned on the existing homes, the existing 24 homes, paying the 7,500 per front door
Yeah.
as the new ones. So that would be one of the benefits of
I
the
recommend
pathway.
I'd like to see, for me, I'd like to see a list of those.
Yeah.
And whatever list you give me, better be in a, if we do approve this, which I'm not saying that I would approve it. Better be in a final development agreement, or don't bring it to me.
Okay.
So are
sounds good.
these homes exist now?
That one's.
Not the ones in the green, but the ones to the south, yes.
These right here exist, yeah.
People are living in them,
Mhm.
Okay.
Occupied.
and they thought they were gonna have open space, and so did all of these people. That's where I struggle.
There's no one living to the west yet, but this portion right here has not been platted yet, but the developer was looking at that as open space.
So he said it's been platted, so which means he hasn't sold any lots there?
Hasn't sold any lots yet.
That's you're talking about the Martini piece.
That,
yeah.
no, that's the
That was.
Bristol Farms.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, now he has platted up next to 4,300.
Okay.
That's where the pathway is, but he hasn't platted yet, right up next to these guys' western side.
Oh, I'd like to bring up one other
Yeah.
thing. So we've had some discussions of some of this other development, about 1,400. You talk about 18, you talk about 43. 1,400 is a problem.
Yeah.
Not wide enough. As I remember, we were applying some pressure to one of those that had to do some improvements to 1,400. This is gonna add another 3 times that, another 100 cars.
Yeah.
Per day
Yeah.
to 1,400. Maybe a good trade-off would be expansion or 1,400 for that.
Are you speaking about 1,600? Because
1,600.
1,400 is well away from this.
This is 1,600.
Yeah, but 14 is the one,
Yeah, but 14 is not connected to it. It's a full block.
it's a full block.
North.
Mhm.
So what about 16? It's still in the same condition, isn't it?
16 doesn't-
brand new road.
Doesn't exist yet.
Well,
Yeah.
it does through Anselmi.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it does through here.
Yeah.
But it'll be picked up from here to the west with the Martini one.
That's the Martini, that's the one we talked about, was
Yeah.
1,600, okay. All right. Well, I just think we have to start looking about roads out there we had people, we had cars.
Yeah, it's true.
And especially on some of those roads, they're pretty narrow.
Yeah, yeah.
This is where they were gonna build the
Ski lake.
ski lake.
Oh, it was?
Right.
Yeah.
It's right at the crown of the property. I mean, part of this falls to the east and part of the rainwater falls to the west. I thought, how you putting a ski lake on the crown? Usually most lakes I see are at the low point.
Well, we were gonna dig a hole.
Yeah, big hole.
Yeah, big hole.
Well, Commissioner Farrar, I agree with you. I don't think I'm ready on this yet. I need to know. I need to be reassured that all these surrounding property owners are gonna be made whole to what they thought was gonna be here.
Well, can we speak to that?
Mhm.
Because when this was done originally, I don't believe that there was any expectation by these homeowners that, and we've talked to them, we went and talked to every single one of them about the trees, about the open space, about everything. And all of them are interested in having it finished and not some dirt farm that every spring they're going and cleaning off their siding and everything from dust and dirt. I'm just saying what that's their words, not mine, right? So all of them, but none of them were given any expectation by us, the developers, that that would stay or would be open space forever. And I say that because your guys' planning commission is what told us to do this. Now, we've worked hand in hand with, and it was Steve Burton at the originally. We've gone through a million of them that came to us with this plan when we abandoned the ski lake. He said, general plan's changing. This is what you can do. I'm not a developer. I did not come up with this idea. But this is what you guys can do. Go into it. We're gonna go and redo this entire general plan. You guys are gonna be able, and Winston Park was the exact same thing, hold the exact same thing. Now, my question is, as an equitable person, Winston Park came to you with the exact same problem. They created open space. It was recorded on the general plan exactly the same. All of their homeowners were given the exact same guarantee. What is different for me as a developer that Winston Park has somehow gotten rid of those concerns for you guys?
When did that happen, Charlie?
Yeah, April 22nd, April 11th of this year.
Concessions.
Okay, and I
What was
read
it?
through it. Their concession was 7,500 per door in the development that was assigned, no retroactively. They've given no additional land. They've given nothing else. I've went through every single one of their meetings, and I'm concerned that we're being treated punitively over the fact that we didn't put trees in. And we can discuss how that happened and the fact that we escrowed the money for the trees. We talked to Steve Burton, Hooper Irrigation. It was during the worst drought in the history of Utah. And we went and Hooper Irrigation said, please do not put any trees in. They talked to Steve Burton. Steve Burton said, just escrow the funds. And as the homeowners put trees in, just make sure they're aware that the escrowed funds are available and they can put trees in and get reimbursed from the county. We said, great, we're happy to do that. We let every single builder know that those were available because we didn't build these homes. We sold them to builders and they built the homes. So we totally escrowed all the funds that were required. Everything was released to us as a finished subdivision, and we thought that we were good. Then when we come back, we're suddenly paddled because we didn't put trees in that we were told not to put in. We escrowed for them. So then we said, great, how can we fix this? We want to work with the county. We went and talked to every single homeowner, knocked every door, said, would you support trees? Would you not support trees? How can we do this? We went through, half of them said that they wanted trees. Half of them said, if you put them in, I'd rip them out the next day. I don't like them because they block my view of the street and I don't want me to be backing out and having a car count. There's everybody, and that's all their responses, not mine. I'm good to do whatever. I told the planning commission, Keith as well, we will go in and force every single homeowner to put the trees in. We'll go do it if that's what you want. And they said, oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, we'll go ask everyone, and everyone that wants it, we'll put it in for them. Okay, well, no, we don't want to do that. Like, we've given you guys 15 different options to try to figure out how to at least alleviate the issue with the trees, because that seems to be the only thing that we did wrong that I know of, that anybody's ever told me. And we can't get an answer as to how to fix it. So my concern is at this point, like, Winston Park got the same benefit that we did, but they gave no more concessions. We're offering more concessions than them. They not only had no more concessions and only had to do $7,500 per door, they got higher density than you guys are even allowing at our 115. They have 53 lots on 13 acres, and 24 of them are townhomes with connected walls. And all we're asking for is 27 lots to make it look exactly like the first phase of, we don't want to make it look ridiculous and put small lots. So we're bending over backwards. We're trying to figure this out. And yet you guys fly through Winston Park like there's not a concern in the world.
That's
And-
not true.
I don't remember.
No, I
that.
listened to their meeting.
I don't care. It's not
Okay.
true. I sat in the meeting and I discussed it and you weren't in the meetings over in
Okay.
my office. So
Okay,
that's not a correct
but at the
statement.
end of the day, I got the result that they got. So I know that they didn't give concessions that were somewhere.
And I was a no vote on
astronomical.
that too.
Okay, I'm not arguing with whether or not it was or wasn't. I'm just trying to figure out how we can be treated equitably in this situation. We're trying to be good stewards. We're trying to help. We're trying to partner. We're putting in a significant amount of money. But I don't know what else we can do to try to get to a point where we can be good partners with the county. And I'd love any input. We're asking for 27 lots on 10 acres. We're not asking for townhomes. We're not asking for extra density. We're paying retroactively on 24 lots. We're doing as much as we possibly can.
I think for me, Charlie, I need to go back and review Winston Park.
Tyler and I have a different understanding of how Winston Park got done. Where there is a lesser amount that is assigned per lot, is because we were dealing with a lesser amount for all developers at that time. And so rather than 7,500 per new and old, we started out with 2,500 per new and old. And when we upped that from 2,500 per new and old to 7,500, we just applied that to the newer ones.
And
But
for the
everyone
record,
since then have been doing 7,500 per new and per.
So that was during a time of transition of that.
okay, now, for
As
the
far as
record,
ease goes, I do believe that Winston Park has gone through quite a bit. I think you guys saw that too. There was a point where they were debating whether or not they were gonna buy back an entire lot to connect a road to the west to satisfy some of Commissioner Harvey's concerns. But they did buy back 2 entire lots on the east side so that they make a connection to meet the connectivity requirements of the county. They did make sure that all their trees were installed as they escrowed. Tyler and I understand their tree thing different as well. I know Steve and I know our processes, and there's no way we would have said, go ahead and escrow, but don't install. So we see that differently. This isn't an issue about trees, though. I think they've come up with a good solution for the trees. It's just a
Not
question of whether or
worried
not
about
this is
that.
a.
Trees either, really.
And Madam Chair, as you guys review this, as a legislative item, you don't need to compare Winston with this.
right,
You could just look at this on standalone and, that's not within your purview. If you want to, you can, but it's not necessary.
Yeah, I understand that. I just want to, I want to go back and review my thought process. on
and
that.
can I, just for the record, the trees were always an issue with the planning commission, which is why I'm very defensive about it, because the planning commission has always had the problem with the trees. Specifically Bren, back in the day. When we originally brought this to you, the fees were $2,000 when we originally brought it, and we offered $5,000 for the new lots. And that still wasn't a problem, so, or wasn't enough at the time, so I'm just trying to figure out how, like, we bring it to you and we offer more money. We have the parks on board, we have the money, we have more than what everyone else is doing at the time, and it's a no. Now we're doing more than what everybody else is doing, it's still a no, but we can't figure out how we have, like, made it impossible for this project to not stand on its merits as any other subdivision that has done it. And so I apologize. I'm not trying to be negative or defensive. It's just, it has been and Keith is much better at this, but he had a meeting at 2:00 where he had to get on to.
Well,
Yeah,
so I appreciate your comments and, on the trees, I'm a little distraught to hear that the planning commission is, I think you're gonna see over the next several years that landscaping, trees, et cetera, is gonna decrease substantially because we don't have the water.
Yeah,
So when the government comes out and tells the developer to use water, that's gonna change.
and
Like
that's what Hope Irrigation told us.
it or not, I mean, we
Yeah.
can't continue to put water on turf, we can't continue to put water on trees. Because we like to take water and maybe drink it and take a bath on it. So, I understand where you're coming from. I just think, in my opinion, I have to be at least somewhat secure, and I'm not gonna compare the two, because I
Okay.
think there's enough variances between the two. It's not fair for either party, but, obviously, we need housing in the state. We need housing in Weber County.
Right.
I just want to make sure that my vote on the commission makes sense in terms of what was promised, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think most of the residents out there would say, I'd a lot rather see a home there with a little turf on it than a field that, doesn't produce anything. So I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
It just kind of comes back to, I have to justify, okay, certain rights were given based upon that. Now the game's changed. I understand the game's changed.
Right.
But at the same time, because the game's changed, we have the ability to say, okay, let's try to, I just want to equalize this out. You talk about equity. I just want there to be an equitable distribution between existing and what you're gonna have benefit wise
Right.
for the county residents. That's,
Yeah, and
so I'm not negative housing. I'm pro housing. I'm pro making sure our kids and grandkids have a place to live, but I want it to be fair to past and future.
yeah,
That's all I'm after.
Madam Chair, one of the things that you requested on the Winston Park one is that the developer bring you a signed statement
Yeah.
from
From
the
the
landowners that are
residents,
immediately adjacent, that they're okay with it happening. So if that's something you'd like to see applied here, we can certainly.
at the time, Winston Park only had 2 people in their subdivision that signed that, right?
No.
No, there were
was a big-
several.
There was a big list
There's
of
quite a few.
people who are living there permanently.
Well, there was, at the time, I think, was that the most recent? Or when they originally did it?
It was this year, this last
Okay.
one.
Yeah, I'd feel better about that.
Okay.
To me, that's fair, because whether or not they had an expectation or knew, because I understand that some don't know.
Right.
It's an opportunity for every single person surrounding that to say, I'm okay with this, because we sure get beat up when we change the general plan.
Yeah.
We do. And it'd be nice to go to the public and say, we did change it, but look, everyone it affects agreed.
Yeah,
That's where I am.
I'm more comfortable having, and I know quite a few of the people out there, I don't know if I know any in this, that if we had some type of statement from a good share of those people saying, we'd rather have homes there than
Yeah.
a vacant lot. That gives me the ability when I get the
When you get beat up,
email saying, why the heck are you idiots doing this? At least I have a response. Well, so-and-so thought it was okay.
everyone around that thought it was okay.
I know right now there's gonna be one who's definitely gonna be a no, but
Well-
some of the other ones came
Well,
to the
then
planning
maybe
commission
that person
meeting.
can have a conversation with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Worthwhile.
I'd like to hear both sides.
Perfect.
okay,
Okay. We'll come back to another work session as soon as we got some of this sorted out.
thank you.
But I think that, why that's important is because those people that bought homes here, bought homes with the understanding that this would be open.
Yes.
And now we have the ability to change that.
And they don't, and apparently they don't want it open, right? Because of the dust and stuff.
Yeah,
If that's
well-
the case, we just need to know that.
And if that's true, let's hear
Sounds great. Okay, we'll see you guys at another
All right.
work session.
I'd like a motocross track to.
Maybe you guys won't let us do that either.
it. How about a horse arena?
For electric bikes, yeah, it'd be good, or bring up anything like that.
Yeah, electric bike track, is that what you
Yeah,
said?
that'd be great.
Sounds great.
Drone port.
Let's do that. Okay, thanks,
Thank
Commissioner.
you.
Okay, that was fun.
Well, not for all of us.
We think this was fun. Wait till tomorrow morning.
Oh, tomorrow's gonna be like a vacuum.
Wow.
I already getting emails from Jan Phone.
Again? Or I should say more?
Yeah. I told Liam to write up a
Okay. All right, we're back for item 4, discussion regarding 2025 and 2026 budget changes. Stella Weaver and Rick Hatch.
you want to do 2025 first or 2026?
2025,
Okay.
that should be easy.
2025.
And just- That's it.
Sorry. I've got quotes, that's fine.
Well, Harv, it's the old 2025 budget change.
Yeah,
for
the
us.
old budget ploy.
All right, these are hopefully the last budget changes for the 2025 year. As usual, I'll have them on the commission agenda tomorrow as a public hearing. But I wanted to bring these to you today in this work session, just in case you have any questions beforehand. I think you've seen all of these come through. You should have seen all of these come through the KISS Flow portal for the most part. The Dumke donation is just moving money that we had received over to the Egyptian ramp funds, the second one, and then taking money out of the homicide task force as a restricted account. And then down below, we had a very large escrow payment come in and then release most of it, I think almost or more than half of it. But our budget couldn't handle the inflow and.
What is that? What Shelter Hill is? What was that?
So it's a subdivision, Shelter Hill. I don't know where it's at, but they just received a very large payment into an escrow for some improvements that had to be done.
Oh, okay.
And that was the amount of money that we took in. We've already released, was it 7 million? As 7 or 9, okay. We've already released most of that back to them, which means that they took care of the improvements that they were supposed to take care of. But again, it was in our budget that we didn't really have enough money to handle the way that we have to account for that. Conference center, the next 4 or 5 down there are just increases in revenues with increased expenses because we have more revenues. And then the other ones on the bottom are just some cleanup to make sure that we don't go over budget in any of these funds by the end of the year. Our redevelopment agency contribution, we anticipate receiving more tax revenue there. And so the incentive payment over to that will be larger. The CSI overtime, we talked about that in our budget hearing back in October. They have exceeded what their overtime allotment was. And so that really is about the balance of their fund. And so they're going to have to take action on billing the cities for additional funding for the next coming year to replenish that. And then the next 2 capital case expenses for the county attorney and public defender, those are contracts for the level case that we've been paying out for those contract attorneys. The first one is just a partial payment. You'll see when we jump to the 2026 budget changes, the remainder will be in that budget for next year. And then the trust account is just some interest that we had to transfer over to the Egyptian Theater Foundation. So any questions on those?
You know, we gotta get some help from the state on this, Gage. This Lovell case continues to bleed us. And this Charlie Kirk thing in Utah County, that'll be the thing. Cause it's Utah County says they put up $1 million or $2 million. I'll bet it's 10 by the time it's done. And here's the thing, is the taxpayers of Utah County will bear all that burden just because an event was held in their area. They didn't have.
No, you're right.
That's all. So the state needs to come in and figure that out for all that. Heaven forbid that should happen in Paiute County somewhere.
Bankrupt them.
Oh, it'd bankrupt them. It'd bankrupt them huge. It's not right. Something's got to be fixed on that. Just because an event happens. And now the Lovell case, they were both Weber County people, but I can see the same applications going to apply in Utah County because of that deal. And just what's going to do is shine a bright light on it.
Unfortunate.
No, that's a good discussion to bring up with our leadership. That's one thing I didn't talk about Stuart last week when I had lunch with him, but we'll bring it up.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, look at what Lovell case is gonna cost us.
That's just the contract.
And it's not over
The
yet.
millions that we've spent otherwise, it's not over.
Yeah, I think, it'd be easier, well, shouldn't be easy, but some legislation could be run for these capital cases.
Yeah.
That the state needs to pay either the whole thing or a proportionate amount. And again, for the state, it's not, you know, a couple, $3 million is a drop in the bucket compared to us. That's, you know, that's a big hit for us. Yeah, I think we could talk to some people down there and come up with a
We need to
answer.
come up with
We
something.
just have to make it retroactive. So
Oh,
it
that'd be
covers all.
great.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Okay,
Okay, so that's for 2025.
see, that was easy.
Now here
Here
is
goes 2026.
the 2026 changes, whoops, for
Wow.
tentative budget. There's quite a few on here. So the first group, I believe, are all changes that have been brought to your attention by Emily. We're talking a few individuals that were popped out. And I think she's brought all of these to your attention. There was an error on that last one. Baker Tilly had the wrong number of hours for the one of the part-time employees, which made the annual salary of that individual incorrect. So that was the correction on that line. So I guess on all of these, I just need you to let me know whether or not you want me to include these in the final budget. If you're okay with all of these as we go.
But yeah, and I think I'm okay with the top ones. Emily's talked to us about those.
Mhm.
So that goes down to the first gray line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Commissioners, you okay with that?
I'm good.
Okay, so the next one, we had put an amount of $85,000 into the budget that was approved in the tentative budget for student loan assistance applications. That it was typical for the previous years on what we had spent based on the number of applications we received. And that was right around 16 or so applications. This year, HR received 26 applications for student loan reimbursement or student loan forgiveness. And so I've added an amount in here, and I just need to have you let me know whether or not you want to increase the amount that we're going to fund, or if we need to let Human Resources know that $85,000 was the maximum and you'll just have to deny the others that came in. I don't know if they do it on a first come, first served basis or how they do that. But they did ask for the applications as they have in the past and just received a lot more than they normally have.
I thought it was on a first come, first served basis.
Well, we've been able to fund based on the appropriation that has been approved in the budget so far up to this point. This year, we exceeded that number. And so we can increase the budget, or we can say, this is what the budget was, and we'll take the first applications we received and the other ones we're not going to be able to fund.
Do we limit it to graduate degrees or undergrads? Like,
So the student loan forgiveness, I believe, is a graduate level reimbursement or program.
wonder where the extras are coming from.
Yeah.
More people are aware.
Yeah.
It's
just a
a
lot.
great benefit.
It is such a huge recruitment tool.
Yeah.
I mean, retention tool,
Retention.
with keeping attorneys.
And they do have to pay if they leave within 2 years of
Yeah,
receiving,
they
they do
pay
have
it
to
back.
pay it back.
2 years.
Mhm.
Well, say they do.
We have actually,
Quitting pay it back.
yeah, we have.
They couldn't pay it.
Mhm.
Good for him.
So, if I may, Madam Chair, this is 41,000 really represents 165,000 or so, because as soon as you put it in one, or at least double it, because they're gonna keep coming back. On that being said, I think it's a benefit that we keep. I'm for it. I like being able to help our employees be the best they can be, and if they think that path of education or reimbursement from college is that path, I'd like the idea, so I'm a yes on this.
What's the total? Tell me the total amount again.
So we
This-
approved 85,000, so this will be about 120, 130,000.
Okay, I'm okay with it.
Why are there two different lines?
One is a different fund. The engineering budget it goes into a different.
You
fund.
okay with both?
I'm okay with both.
Okay.
And it is, I did indicate it's one time. I mean, it's out of the one-time bucket because we can discontinue the
Sure.
program.
Or
next
scale
year.
back or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the next group are actually the changes that have come in, requests that have come in since the budget, or since the tentative budget was approved. I mentioned the first one in our 2025 items. This is the balance of the contract for Gary Heward that was not included in the budget, so I thought we might as well add it in now instead of later.
Good catch.
USU Extension reached out to me and said that she had failed to include a line that she normally includes in her budget. It was for $2,085 for her maintenance on her copy machine. So she's asked to have that added back in. Commissioner Harvey brought to me a contract last week. We've had a wildland fire contract to pay for the fire warden through Weaver Fire District, and that contract has been the same for years and years.
More than 10 years.
We typically pay is just under, we had a budget of 36,000. I think the contract was 34,000 and some change. And they're asking for an increase up to about just over $60,000.
And that's our share. This is spread equally, commissioners, between us, the state, and Weaver Fire District.
Okay.
So that's an increase there. The next one was an error on my part. We had approved in the tentative budget a line of $14,000 to increase their food line, and I left that off the budget even after it was approved. So I'm just asking to add that back in. And then we received an additional request from the animal shelter. Siri is asking for $33,000 in additional cameras for her facility out there, as well as a couple of laptops so that she can view the cameras while she's not on site. So those are the additions to the tentative budget.
I will say this, that I met with her this morning and she had her quarterly meeting with the contract cities. And she asked for the generator too?
The generator was already in the tentative budget.
Okay.
Yes, so that was already, that
I did
80,000
not
was already
remember
in
that.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
already addressed in the
So
budget.
all she's asking for from these contract cities is 35,000.
Well, the 80,000 is already in there. And
Right.
so that would be an increase to the contract cities as well.
Right. So.
80 grand.
So
80,000
she-
for the generator, yes.
Got
So
it.
she met with them, she told them that she had put that in her budget, she asked for these two. She said that most were supportive, Ogden City was not, because of course they have the biggest share
Right.
of it,
Yeah.
and they said, you know. Chad
Contract
wanted
cities.
7 positions last year and this and that, we didn't give them 7 positions, you remember, we gave them, I think.
Well,
Two.
we ended up, there
then
was,
some
we ended,
people.
yeah, there was some, we ended up adding 2 positions, but funded a third,
For
but didn't
cleaning, yeah.
end up using it.
Yeah.
So,
So it is what it is, you know, I mean, we get a lot of complaints about the animal shelter being understaffed and and it has to be paid for.
Yeah.
So other than Ogden City, and I get it that they have the biggest price tag, they were all supportive. I wasn't at the meeting, I was out of town, but
I was at the meeting.
okay.
And I can echo that Ogden City are the Chief Subi was there and Mara was there. And they both had some concerns with the increase that they've been seeing. I explained to them why the big increase. I sent some information. I believe I CC'd you on
Okay.
the information that I sent to Mara that she was asking for on the budget. Because we didn't end up funding those other cleaning positions, the additional position we asked for the outreach is really not an
Okay.
increase to their budget. It's just primarily these equipment items
Okay.
that they would need to worry about paying.
Well, commissioners, I feel good about it. I think that, well, the laptops are, you know, that's pennies, but, the additional cameras are important. All the phone calls I get from the public and emails, when I ask Siri, she says, let me pull up the camera footage and show you. The problem is they don't have cameras in every place in the shelter that they need to, but when they have public interactions, and it's he said, she said, if there's not camera footage, but she can pull it up and she can hear the conversation and how they were treated, and anyway.
I want her to be successful. I'm
Yeah.
okay with this.
I got no reservation
Okay.
whatsoever.
I'm a little perturbed with Ogden City for not the first time. They're probably the biggest, if I'm not mistaken, they're probably the biggest user
That's,
of the animal shelter.
that's why their portion is big, because
Yeah.
it's based on population and calls for service, right?
Animal intakes
Animal intakes,
and.
oh, they have their own,
They have their own animal control.
animal control.
Okay,
So that's why they pay the most.
well, and they should, well, again, pay as you go.
Well, and I think, I mean, originally, the concept of having this animal shelter was just a Weber County, Ogden City and Roy venture.
Yeah,
And the fact that we're actually spreading that out among even more cities than that, their share would be much higher had the other cities not jumped on board. And so I think that they shut down their own shelter. And so the fact that now they have to pay part of ours is still probably money ahead in the long run.
I guarantee you there's money ahead versus what
So-
they're paying for their own shelter.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. I know it's awful to see a big increase on an item that you see every year, but
Mhm.
anyway. So
Well,
that's
I'm good with it.
Okay.
all of those items there, are we okay on all
I'm
of
okay
them?
with all those, yeah.
Okay. The next group are just some updates to our impact fees. At the time we did our tentative budget, there were still some question on what projects were on there. I since have met with Gary and Ashley and we updated those. So those are just the result of that meeting. And they're impact fees that we need to spend anyway. And we actually have another work session right after this to talk about impact fees. So, and then the last line in that group is flood control. We had funded a $250,000 initial study in our tentative budget. And then I think they talked to you, Commissioner Frower, and we decided to take that out of the budget.
Yeah, I said right from the start, the state should pay part of this.
Right.
And they, anyway, the ball was dropped a little bit, so I said, let's take this next year.
Sure.
And get a commitment from the state on a matching fund basis, so it may go back in next year.
That's fine.
But I don't see any reason to leave it in,
Okay.
because I don't wanna do this with, the state's put millions of dollars out there. We could easily get, we should get a little bit of that,
Yeah.
because this impacts the Great Salt Lake.
So that's that
Good
line,
with those?
taking those out.
Okay.
Okay.
We're good with that section.
Okay, so the next group has to do with our municipal services contracts. We had estimated some revenues, weren't sure what was gonna happen. So these negative amounts are actually revenues, positives to the budget. Now that we've semi-finalized those contracts and they're on the agenda tomorrow, we put those amounts based on the contracts that we had decided on.
We just have to figure out how we're gonna really get paid.
Yeah,
They didn't put on a credit card or,
right.
I haven't heard any contact about borrowing. Have you?
Yes, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be part of your update.
Okay, good.
you're about to hear
Okay,
them.
good.
Guess who the bank want? They want the
I
bank to
just-
do.
I assume, but
Bank of Weaver
I
County.
was just wondering when they were gonna ask. That's all.
Very nice about it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, the next group, it kind of goes on the next page. The health department had a few concerns on their office specialist and office manager positions after the compensation study came out. So they met with Emily and asked if they could have some increases or some adjustments on those positions based on some compression they were seeing and so forth. Emily was okay with those. Those are on the last four lines in this group, but are offset by some reductions in their budget, and that would more than cover the difference.
Emily recommends that.
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Yep.
Commissioners, you okay?
Good.
Good.
Okay. And then the rest of them are really just kind of housekeeping items. We had talked about the dental internal service fund. That just needs to be set up. It wasn't actually included in the document, the tentative budget document, even though we talked about it, just because there's some work that has to go into setting that fund up. And then most of the rest of these are just moving items in and out of budget lines. We have the breakdown that was submitted by Culture Parks and Rec for their allocation. Just moving things from one line to another based on just some budget cleanup items. The only other one that I think that I might draw your attention to is in the light gray, and it's the paramedic. We had included an amount equivalent to their heavy rescue program of the $285,000 that we had put in the contract service line item. And since got some direction from the committee, the paramedic committee, that they had wanted to split some of that out into some heavy rescue stipend training and some durable equipment, and then the rest left in the contract service line. So that's what that is just that allocation based on their recommendation.
So those lines in gray are their recommendation.
Yes.
I talked to Chief Clark, I think maybe beginning of last week, and he said, what was the final answer? And I said, he had to forward the email to me because I lost it. It was buried. And quite honestly, I didn't open it because I was on vacation, but it was their recommendation collectively.
Yes.
And then I also, we need to remind Brian Barron, I can do this, or unless you want to, Chris. Brian Barron was gonna, we want to make this committee official.
Yeah.
It's all the chiefs and they're functioning like they're official, but we need to create that committee somehow.
As the committee of chiefs for
Paramedic, for the
yeah.
paramedic fund.
I will definitely talk.
And the structure, he's got notes on it, the structure, how it relates to Lisa Gosline and the paramedic. Program is staying under her, but it's basically gonna be recommendations from that committee. Yeah, will you follow up on that? Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
so this reflects what they've requested.
Yes. Mhm.
Those don't net, it's the net increase, right?
They should have zero. These three. We're moving 164,000 out of contract services to. Yeah, I think that's 111, yeah.
Okay,
That's 100.
I was including the 35 above.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
okay, what else?
Hey,
That's all I
I'm
have.
okay with those.
Are you all right?
Of course, I shouldn't be saying that. Wait, maybe I should. Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair-elect.
All right, looks good.
Okay. So those will be,
So, but before we
Yeah.
go, let's just go back to the heavy rescue.
Yep.
So, you know, we talked, they wanted in, so did we end up with, in this final budget, what we talked about in the tentative, which was, didn't we cut back one of their heavy rescues or?
so they had their heavy rescue contract was a total of $285,300.
Yeah.
And what we did in the tentative budget was we said, we're gonna fund that amount, the 285,000, but we're gonna let the committee tell us whether they want to continue to fund heavy rescue, move it all to the contracts that we have for paramedic, or some combination
Yeah,
of.
right.
And that's what, so we had the 285 in the tentative budget. We are now just allocating that out as their direction.
Okay. And we think that this is a real, they have consensus on this?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, that was the email that
yeah,
Chief Clark sent to Commissioner Bowles, and she forwarded it to me. And they wanted the emphasis still on their staff, which is the stipend and the training, and then make sure that there was a $41,000 that they use for they call it durable equipment, which is, I don't know what it's for.
he showed us all that stuff.
Yeah.
On his slide presentation. Yeah. Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I like it where they're making the decision,
Yeah.
not having, look, we funded it. You
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right thing to do.
I'm good with that.
Okay. And that is all I have for that.
Wow.
Yeah. Trying to keep you on time.
We should have put some more stuff in there if we knew they were gonna be in such a good mood. Just add.
Who says we're in a good mood?
I can tell.
Good work.
Well, most of it is just, yeah, there's
dude
just a
said
few
that.
items that were kind of additions. Most of it was just moving things around.
All right, I think we're on to impact fees.
Okay,
You're a part of that
I
discussion.
am a part of that discussion. I think Bill is probably out there.
Let's get Bill in here. Put his feet to the fire just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill.
Bill's been all over today.
Yeah. How many more days till Sean gets me?
All right.
All right, shoot. Agenda item 5.
You want me to go or do you want to?
Yeah, well, we're just here to talk about impact fees and kind of where we ended for the year. As you know, we allocated all the Upper Valley ones, right? What we were left over. And so, but if we don't utilize them, then we have to give them back to the developers. And
Right.
so we do have more that we need to discuss today about the Lower Valley. And I may let Steph kind of talk a little bit about how much that is. And
Yeah, sure.
what we had planned for.
Right, so as you know, we have 5 years to spend all of the impact fees we collect. And I've reviewed where I think we'll be by the end of the year. We were able to identify the items to spend those on based on our impact fee plan. The only area of impact fees that I think we're going to be just a little bit short on our spending this year through the end of 2025 is on our trails. And actually the trails, we've in our plan combined the upper and lower, so just that's left that needs to be spent is about $158,000 left for the rest of this year. We are waiting on one more invoice for some asphalt on the trail for 4100 North. That we anticipate will be right around 80 to 90,000 somewhere. So that leaves just about $72,000 that we need to spend. And one of the trails that's on, I think we've talked about it before, is that Ogden Canyon Trail. I think Ogden City met with Sean recently or talked to Sean recently and we're asking about the possibility of us helping with that. It's already on our impact fee plan. And so we're just wanting to make sure that we're good with that to spend those remaining dollars so that we're compliant with our impact fee spending for the year.
And Sean and I's recommendation, we meet every month with Ogden City and the committee there and on what's happening with the trail and the design of all that. And so our recommendation is that we do utilize that money for that. It's there. We gotta need to use it. He also said that you can add to that if you want, because we do have more that needs to be spent. That's just how much we need to allocate. So if you want to make that 100,000, you can. We have plenty of money to cover that stuff. So
I think the amount that I have on the Ogden Canyon Trail is a total of 200,000.
What have we put in so far?
I don't think we've spent anything on that
yeah,
one.
that's why we're saying if we get
We
this,
have it?
then you can decide what you want.
I like that idea.
So give me an update. What is the status of that trail? Because last time I checked a couple years ago, it was a trail to nowhere because we didn't have rights to go through.
It's still,
So we've been meeting with Ogden City, I don't know, for the last 6 months, and UDOT has actually been designing the trail all the way up the canyon and all the access to that. And so it's like coming public right now of that. So they're starting to, they're working on the areas that Ogden City does own and stuff, but UDOT's been planning that, and now they're gonna start concentrating more on what that looks like, and they'll start implementing some of that and involving the public in some of those and trying to get acquisition. And so
Well, if it's a real deal, I'm all for it.
it
so.
is.
but it's still to nowhere. I mean, it's not to nowhere.
No, it's-
It's up to
Yeah.
Cobblestone Canyon or Wheeler, what is it called? Not Wheelers, but that
Coldwater?
No. That's it. It's up to about the cobbles, I think.
It's close to cobbles.
But that is, I think what it does is it starts letting them say, hey, it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming. Bits and pieces, it's coming.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the city bought Mike Bachman's house,
Oh, that's
Which-
good news.
which took care of that very east portion.
Yep.
So it's kind of that center area.
And they need it because as they're doing this pipe, this 36-inch pipe coming down, they can do that. So I'm a yes on that.
We're just talking about impact fee,
Two
72
yeses that I guess we're.
72,000.
Two healthy yeses, I want to.
So I guess the question is how much, right?
Yeah.
So how much you want?
I've got no problem with 100,000 if it makes them, even though they,
Cause I need to contact.
that hurt my
Anderson
feelings
and
about
get
the
a-
animal shelter.
Get an invoice and so we can pay that. So.
Are you okay with 100? We've got, it's all that impact fees.
Does this transaction have to take place before December 31st? So
Yes.
do they bill us in advance?
How much was the increase to the animal shelter? No, I'm serious. I got a reason for this. What was the increase the animal throw for Ogden City?
We haven't calculated it yet because, we have to update the animals. It'd probably be maybe 60,000.
$60,932.15. That's how much I'd like to match on the trail. Exactly the same amount.
Okay,
I like that.
I have a couple more things if you don't mind.
Oh, the
Yeah,
old,
need to go
oh,
first.
here's what we got, but I'm gonna slide a few more things in. Chris?
What's that?
It depends.
It's not on the agenda.
not on the agenda, Chris.
It's administrative. Proceed with caution.
There are just a few simple things that Sean poured me as we've been busy with.
Oh, the old Sean's out of town. Yeah.
So, this one we've already had in a work session before, but it involves 2200 out in Plain City, that road.
Oh.
So no, we went through and did all the right of way. Like, all the contracts are in place and signed and ready to go, just that Gary had never executed the payment of those, and so we have $47,926 that still needs to be paid. So those property owners, we just need to cut the checks and pay for those properties that we've already done the due diligence, and we've been in work sessions talking about that. So it's just to say, can we continue on and get those people paid and close those things out? So,
Okay. I'm good.
So we'll pay them since we've already told them we would,
yeah,
but we've stopped the lawsuit for the future with the continue down 2,200. The one problem we had out there. Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay.
the other thing just had to do with the sheriff's office. As you know, GSBS has been the architects that have been designing the new this health medical wing and this healthcare facility. They've wrapped up about everything except they're just kind of finishing up on a few things. One of those had to do with, I know they looked into the water lines and everything, but one thing that they didn't get was studies and stuff on the water lines that would supply the fire suppression system. And so GSBS is basically asking that we have an analysis done on that, and that it is A2 Infinity Sign is the people that they would like to contact with that. The amount is only $4,000, but it would be above and beyond the original contracted price with them. And so we really need to know this because they'll study what size it is, and what water supply we have. They'll do all the testing so that we know moving forward what we have. So
Well, I think we gave them a total amount on that addition, expansion. And we said whatever falls, right, commissioners, it has to fall within this amount. So they want to use 4,000 on it and they need to, then it's
as long
great.
as it's within that, okay,
Yeah,
That's
okay,
design, build, everything.
okay.
There's a budget.
yeah, I don't disagree, but
Okay.
let's not have change order.
Yeah.
This is a
Okay.
change order waiting to
Yeah.
happen if we don't figure this
Boy,
out.
I'll say,
Yeah, and 4,000 will be good. So I'll double check and make
Alright.
sure that they're within budget. If not, then I'll figure that out. So,
Okay.
okay. Yeah, it's such a low amount. It's just, the procurement issues by just going with them.
Yeah.
So they're already doing the work.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, commissioners, item 6 is adjournment.
So I got
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.